Rising PAC, Alexandra Smith, and Democratic strategist Rochelle Ritchie. Thank you for joining us this morning. So, Rochelle, I'll start with you. What do you think should be on the list of asks?
Well, I think that first North Korea and the United States need to first determine what exactly does it mean when we say denuclearization, because I think it could be something very different for North Korea compared to the United States. Of course, you would hope for the United States that it actually means to remove the nuclear weapons, destroy the facilities.
That both parties see this happening,
right.
Know when this is going on.
Exactly, that, those facilities are destroyed, and obviously that North Korea does not turn around and start selling these materials and technologies to other countries so that they can develop nuclear weapons. So I don't think this is going to be a sprint. This is definitely going to be a marathon.
Right. We want to make sure it's done right. Alexandra,
exactly.
Do you agree with what Rochelle said?
Particularly because of the Iran deal. I think that what we need is complete transparency. We need the ability to access these sites and make sure that this is actually what's happening. But I have faith that total denuclearization will be a reality just because of the Trump administration's willingness to be tough with North Korea. Under the leadership of UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, we've seen some of the toughest sanctions against North Korea, and I think that that's a large part of why they came to the negotiating table.
Let's take a look at a quote. This was in Reuters from over the weekend. It's from an unnamed senior U.S. defense official on the timeline and the asks, and it says, quote, "We'll know pretty soon if they're going to operate in good faith or not. There will be specific asks, and there will be a specific timeline when we present the North Koreans with our concept of what implementation of the summit agreement looks like." As far as the timeline goes, you just mentioned the fact that this isn't going to be a sprint, right? This is going to take some time. But Rochelle, in your opinion, do you think this gets done during President Trump's first term?
I don't think that it will be done during his first term, and I'm not very confident that it's actually going to be done if he is elected again. I think
period, you're saying?
Well,
at all?
Not period. I'm just saying during his term or terms.
Okay.
I'm not confident that it will happen, but it could. But I think we have to keep in mind with North Korea is that their nuclear weapons is not just about protecting their borders and national security. It is actually symbolic of their power as well, and also their ability to compete in a sense, like in a technological sense, if you will, with the rest of the world. So I think that we have to also consider that if Kim Jong-un decides to dismantle his nuclear weapons program, he may start to feel that he's dismantling his power and political influence.
Alexandra?
Well, I think one of the hallmarks of the Trump administration's foreign policy, and something I agree with, is not broadcasting in advance what we think the timetable should be for anything, just because it sort of sets unrealistic expectations and gives a tip-off to our enemies about what our intentions are. That being said, I think that in terms of specific asks, we've already seen some signs of good faith, and I'm particularly hopeful given the fact that North Korea decided this year to skip an anti-American rally that they typically hold regarding the Korean War. They've also sent back the remains of, or they're preparing to send back the remains of soldiers who were killed in the Korean War and whose remains have been in North Korea. And so I think that there are signs of good faith on the North Korean side, and I can only hope that it continues.
Do you think this gets done during the first term?
I think that they certainly hope that it will. I think that this is something that they definitely want to wrap up during President Trump's first term. But, it's possible that, it might take, years beyond that as well.
Alexandra, now that we've had time to digest the summit and really sit back and think about everything that happened, this was such a significant event. What, in your opinion, do you don't want to give to North Korea? You absolutely don't want to give them?
Well, look, I think that the goal is total denuclearization. We do not want to budge an inch on that. And I think that particularly we want the ability to go in and inspect those sites. I think that that's been, a major problem with Iran and the Iran deal. And I think we want the ability to see for ourselves what is going on.
Firsthand without being told. Rochelle, last word, just a couple seconds.
Well, I really think that if we look at what's happening in North Korea, I think this is the move in a right direction, correct? But I just worry about how it's going to actually be done. I think that is what we have to see happen, because this is not just going into North Korea and blowing up facilities. You have to be very strategic in how we're going to get rid of these nuclear weapons.
We all want the answers now, but it's time will tell. Ladies,
Right.
Thank you both for joining us. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Rob?
At least thanks so much.